Well, thank you very much for inviting me. I never refuse an invitation for missionary activity. And I'm a missionary for the idea that when we think about the policy towards any sphere of our lives, it should be based on the impact that that has on the well-being of the people. So what we want is a world in which people are enjoying their lives, happy, fulfilled, satisfied. And the criterion, therefore, for any policy discussion is how does this, the decisions we make about it, affect the happiness of the people, and in particular, how does it affect the prevalence of misery in the community. So I'm hoping that when the AI debate hots up, even more than it already has, this is going to be the test. And of course, it's got to be based on evidence. Now, until recently, we didn't have much evidence about the causes of happiness. And we're still in the middle of it, but we're in the middle of a great new science of happiness. It's developed over the last 40 years or so. The typical measure that we use is the answer to the question, overall, how satisfied are you with your life these days? This turns out to be a very meaningful question. For example, it predicts whether you're likely to die in the next 10 years, as well as a medical doctor can do. It predicts how you will vote better than the economy does. So it's a meaningful variable, and it captures really what we're trying to talk about. So how are we doing on this variable? We've got now time series in the US going back to 50 or 60 years. US happiness has been going down. We've got for many countries 40 years or so of data, and for the whole world we've got data since 2005. And basically, in most countries, happiness was increasing till the financial crisis of 2008. In most, it's been fairly stable since then. In the US, it's been drifting down, and Britain has been falling since the pandemic. So we obviously can learn something from these international differences, but we can learn even more from differences between people. So if you take the variation of happiness in the population, we can try and see what factors explain it. So number one is health, mental and physical. Number two is relationships, family, at work, community. Number three only is income, in explaining the variation of happiness. So against that background of a science, how are we going to think about the impact of technology? I'm not an expert on this, but I'm begging you, when you do think about it, to study as far as you possibly can the impact of all the different things that AI does on people's happiness. That should be the criterion. If you're ever doing a survey, make sure you include that question and think about that in terms of the outcome. I will just refer to a bit of history. We've just had some history, but I'll do my little bit of it. Three technological changes in this, the last 100 years. Because what I want to persuade you is that you're in for a lot of regulation. You're in for a lot of regulation for human betterment. So let's start with the car. In 1930, the number of people killed on the roads in Britain was 7,000. It's now under 2,000, although there are 100 times more cars. That is entirely because everything about the car has been regulated. The car itself has been regulated, the roads have been regulated, and the driver has been regulated. Nobody foresaw that at the time. but that was coming. So let's move on then to social media. Now, I'm an editor of something called the World Happiness Report, and this has got its next issue coming out in March on social media and happiness. And I think it's pretty clear that in Britain, Western Europe, and North America at least, social media, as well as doing lots of useful things, has done a lot of damage to adolescents and young adults, especially women. This is going to be regulated. We've seen yesterday the undressing of the lady. I mean, all of these things are going to be regulated. It's not a matter of an assault, an unwanted assault on freedom. Freedom has to be limited, as it was with the car. I mean, people thought that they had the right to drive a car anywhere there was a road, but they don't. So we're in for the same thing when it comes to AI. I just want to mention one other thing, which is that this approach to thinking about public policy has taken root, particularly in one country, this one. You may not know this, but the Treasury has a green book which says how public policy decisions are to be evaluated in terms of their impact. And the impact which it specifies is life satisfaction. Now, Keir Starmer also endorsed this in one of his speeches. Of course, it's taking a while to take root, but you need to expect to find this when you get into discussions with officials or politicians about public policy. This is going to be increasingly the way in which you think, and I hope it's going to be the way in which the whole world thinks, because, I mean, if we want a happier world, we'd better make that the explicit goal. How are we going to get that just by a byproduct without thinking about it? So thank you for giving me this chance to talk with you, because I do think this is a very, very powerful idea. I do think that if you want to know about it, I can tell you a few books. There's one which I wrote with a colleague called Wellbeing, Science and Policy, which tries to put together everything that we know about this. We're about to publish a book called Value for Money, applying this method to that. So there is a literature that you can consult on this. And if this becomes the basic way of thinking worldwide, that is the way to having a happier world, and I think that's what's going to happen. Thanks very much.